you can stick an insert in 573, which is the final hymn. Okay, you can stick a piece of paper in 573, final hymn. 511 is the offertory hymn. You'll be all set. Immediately following the final hymn, and before the postlude, which I'm told is terrific, Ann Wells says, tell them to stay for the postlude, it's particularly good today. Right? Yes, message delivered. We will have what is likely to be the briefest parish meeting on all record. All voting members were sent, unless you unsubscribe, which some have, from the email list, an agenda. If during the final hymn you would like an agenda, raise your hand and the usher will give it to you. We're doing some very simple things, a minor bylaw revision, and because we hadn't a quorum at our annual meeting, we are ratifying the acts of the annual meeting. Just by my count, I do believe we have more than 35 voting members here today already. So no one leave. That's why we're having the meeting right here in the pews. I thanked him while he was present here today, but I want to thank, I don't know if he's a member or just a friend, but friend of the parish who was confirmed by or received the Anglican Communion from here, so I think he's a member. Justin Pasco has been giving of his time and talent to help the Zoom recording. So Zoomers, if you can't hear us, it's Justin's fault. He worked for 2 hours on Friday afternoon to really mess it up. And if you can hear it perfectly, it's Justin. He really made it good. And we want to thank Justin for just spending a ton of time with Diane to make it really work well. I'm sure it did work well. And thank him for all of his good work with us. Peter Aces has got something to share with us. And if the ushers, sorry, before you bring the offering, if you would get ready with those pieces of paper, which, as Peter gets to the end of his talk, you might deliver to anyone who puts his hand up and asks for one. It's the opportunity to.
Good morning. I just wanted to give you a quick update on the church finances. The church, as we all know, essentially runs on the money that we pledge them every year. And our pledges support the salaries of the priest, the music director, the parish secretary, the bookkeeper. It supports all the expenses required to run the office 52 weeks a year, and it supports the 2 properties we own and the 6 buildings on those properties. And I know that some people don't know what those 6 buildings are, so they are the main church, the attached parish house, that's one, the rectory, the community house, the carriage house behind us, and the hall house way back, and the gray apartments next door. So a bunch of these buildings and properties we support. This year's pledge drive went very smoothly, but after allowing ample time for the final pledges to trickle in, we added them all up. It turns out that we're a little short of budget in a material way. So, and this situation is not unique. I was reflecting that it happened exactly 12 years ago when I was warden, so nothing new under the sun. So this afternoon, a handful of us are going to get together, review the details of what we have on the budget and the people who are members of the church, and come up with a plan to fill the gap. That plan will most likely look like a letter that goes out from the 2 wardens and from Ian to all of us, asking us to consider increasing our pledges mid-year. And as you know, as in all things, many hands make light work. I'm confident that the budget will balance if we all participate, remembering what a special community we're privileged to be a part of. It's one that people just like us have been supporting right here in Litchfield for almost 300 years. So I just wanted to let you know that that is the situation, and to keep an eye out for a letter to take it seriously when it comes. If you have questions about the budget, the process, or anything, you may speak to any member of the vestry, or Ian, or even me, although I may know less than the rest of them, at any time, next door at coffee hour, later, what have you. It's an open door, and we're all equal members here. So thank you very much for your time this morning.
Thank you. And I will say, we won't have you raise your hands now, but the ladies in the back have a sheet like this, which is very simple. It simply says, in thanksgiving for all the blessings which I, state your name, have been endowed by Almighty God, I would like to, circle 1, pledge and increase my annual pledge to support the ongoing ministry at St. Michael's in/by the following amount. And if you'd like to pick one of these up and hand it in today, that's great. Otherwise, we're going to send these out in a letter next week. Thank you very much in advance for all that you've done so far and all that you may do in the future. One last announcement is this. There are postcards in the back, which I encourage you to take away and give to somebody else. They are advertising our last choral evensong of the year next Sunday on Trinity Sunday, and they feature for the first time that wonderful watercolor that was done for Madeline King's wedding a couple of weeks ago on the back. And it's actually not the best version. We have a better version since, but it's got a version of it. So please take some and hand them out to people. This is one of our best evangelical opportunities of the month. May we walk in love as Christ loved us and gave himself an offering and sacrifice to God.